Imagine walking into a forest so deep that once you enter, you may never come out alive. Tonight we uncover the chilling history of those who went searching for treasure and paid with their souls. What would you do if you were trapped here? Tell us your opinion in the comments, because this story will haunt you till the end. It all began with a forgotten map, a fragile piece of parchment found in the ruins of an abandoned mansion. The map was said to lead deep into a forest so vast and uncharted that even the oldest records had no name for it. Legends whispered of unimaginable treasure hidden within its shadows, left behind by a lost civilization that vanished centuries ago. The promise of gold and glory was enough to lure a group of brave and perhaps foolish adventurers into its depths. 5 souls came together, each driven by different dreams. Daniel, a historian obsessed with uncovering lost knowledge, believed the map held the key to rewriting human history. Maya, a determined archaeologist, saw it as her greatest discovery. Ethan, a hardened treasure hunter, cared only for riches. Sarah, skilled in wilderness survival, wanted the challenge. And Alex, the youngest of them, dreamed of becoming part of a story that would be remembered forever. None of them knew the price they would pay. The journey began under open skies, the forest entrance draped in sunlight inviting them with false comfort. But with every mile deeper, the forest seemed to change. Trees grew taller and denser, their branches blocking out the sun. The air thickened with silence, broken only by strange cries in the distance. It was no ordinary forest. It felt alive, breathing, watching and waiting. Nights were the worst. Around their campfires, they heard footsteps circling just beyond the flames. Sometimes whispers floated through the air, voices that spoke no known language. Sleep became impossible, and fear began to creep into their hearts. Yet greed kept them moving forward, convincing themselves that treasure always required risk, and perhaps this was nothing more than their imagination. On the 5th day, they stumbled upon massive stones carved with ancient symbols. Daniel trembled as he traced the markings with his fingers. They told a story of a curse, a warning etched by hands long gone. "Those who disturb the forest shall never leave alive," he translated. The group laughed nervously, but deep down, each felt a chill they could not shake. It was the first true sign that the map had not lied. Greed soon overcame caution. Ethan, eager to claim the treasure first, rushed ahead without waiting for the others. Hours later, his screams shattered the forest. By the time they found him, it was too late. The ground beneath him had opened like a mouth, a pit of quicksand swallowing him whole. Only his backpack remained, floating on the surface. The forest had claimed its first victim. From that moment onward, they knew they were not alone. Shadows darted between trees, glowing eyes peered at them from the darkness, and a feeling of being hunted grew stronger with every step. Sarah swore she saw figures moving silently at night, guardians of the forest, neither man nor beast. Alex began to cry in his sleep, muttering words that were not his own. Finally, after days of torment, they found what they sought, the ruins of an ancient temple hidden beneath layers of vines and moss. Gold glimmered faintly inside, untouched for centuries. Their hearts raced with joy, but it was short-lived. The walls of the temple were smeared with fresh blood, as though someone or something had already claimed the place. Maya warned them that this treasure was no gift, it was bait. The truth revealed itself in terrifying silence. The treasure was not unguarded. The forest itself was alive, its roots and shadows serving as protectors. Ancient guardians, bound by curses and rituals, lurked unseen. Every explorer who had entered before them had never returned, not because they were lost, but because the forest had taken them. Panic set in, and the group decided to leave. But the forest was a labyrinth. Paths that once led out now looped endlessly. The compass spun wildly, rivers shifted directions, and even the sun seemed to betray them. It was as though the forest itself had closed its grip, determined to trap them forever. Hunger and thirst began to wear them down. Their food ran out, their bodies weakened, and their hope shattered. Alex, the youngest, broke down completely, crying for his home and his family. Maya tried to comfort him, but even she knew they were walking in circles, growing weaker each day. Desperation was beginning to take control. In the silence of despair, betrayal grew. Daniel, convinced that the treasure held the secret to escape, returned to the temple in secret. He believed if he offered part of himself to the forest, he could bargain for freedom. But greed and arrogance led him to ruin. The others found his notebook later, torn and blood-stained, his final words haunting. "The treasure is not gold. The treasure is the forest itself." Maya, piecing together the carvings and Daniel's final notes, realized the horrifying truth. The treasure was never meant for humans to own. It was eternal life, bound within the forest. Those who tried to take it became part of it, swallowed into its roots, transformed into its guardians. The curse was not a legend, it was law. One night, as whispers grew unbearable and glowing eyes surrounded their camp, Sarah made a choice. She understood what the forest demanded, a sacrifice. With quiet courage, she walked into the shadows, leaving Maya and Alex behind. Her scream never came. Instead, silence fell. The forest had accepted her, and for the first time in weeks, the whispers faded. With Sarah's sacrifice, a path opened. Maya and Alex ran with what strength they had left, stumbling through twisting trees until they finally broke into sunlight. Their bodies were thin, bruised, and broken, but they were alive. Behind them, the forest loomed silently, as though mocking them for their escape. Returning to civilization, they told their story, but no one believed them. Scholars dismissed it as hallucinations, authorities called it madness, and skeptics labeled it a hoax. The world moved on, but Maya and Alex carried the scars of what they had endured. Their friends were not simply dead, they had become part of the forest. Years later, the map resurfaced at an auction, edges still torn, ink still faded, as though time itself refused to erase it. Treasure hunters and collectors fought to claim it, their eyes shining with the same greed that had doomed so many before. Among the crowd stood Maya, older now, whispering under her breath, "You don't know what waits for you in that forest." The legend of the deep forest spread once more. Locals spoke of screams carried by the wind, of trees that moved when no one watched, and of fireflies that glowed like human eyes. Some believed it was myth, others believed it was cursed land, but few were brave enough to venture inside. Those who did never returned. Perhaps the real treasure was not gold or riches, but the lesson itself, the warning that nature, once disturbed, becomes merciless. The forest remained eternal, untouched by time, protecting its secret, and punishing those who sought to steal it. Greed had destroyed generations, and yet the temptation never faded. And so, the forest still waits, silent, endless, and alive. Its roots whisper to those who dare enter, promising glory, but demanding souls in return. And if you ever find yourself wandering too deep into unknown woods, and the trees begin to close around you, listen carefully, for you may hear the same whisper they did. The treasure is here, but the price is your life. And that was the terrifying tale of those who entered the forest and never returned. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more haunting histories, and share your thoughts in the comments, because your opinion keeps this journey alive.